folks, gentle listeners, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, they, them, that, and the others, don't matter. We got a special one here, folks. This one hits a little home with me. I believe the thumbnail is going to be, it's like special needs equals special powers. A chosen warrior for change. It's really interesting. I was in the sauna the other day, Saturn day. And there's this guy, he's probably in his 30s and he's whatever, special needs, mentally handicapped, mentally retarded. I know a professor that would say that. Oh, ghastly. He said the R word. I know. I had to be cognizant of that when I started to work with those folks. Did in-home care with them for 9 years, independent living. Amazing. Got so many stories. But I like that she said that because words are weird like that. It goes from, oh, you're an idiot. So now that became the term on the playground. Then it's retarded. And that became the word on the playground. Then it's like, what, challenged or delayed. It's like in elementary school. They used to they didn't give us ABCs. They give us like E and S. It was like satisfactory or excellent. It's like we still knew that. I think an E was an A basically. EA. Ooh, it's one of their gods, right? Or the god. But yeah, we still knew an E was an A and an S was like probably a C or some shit. So it's like that system doesn't work, folks. What the hell was that all about? So stupid. It's Palo Alto progressive ass fucking no phenomenal education, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, this guy was probably in his 30s. Not to digress, it's words, but we should be cognizant because it is a very hurtful word to that demographic. But I swear I've heard them say it about other people, normal people, which is funny to have someone who's mentally handicapped call someone retarded. It's fucking hilarious. They were like high level though. They were like upper level, like a level 7 or something, not like a 2. But anyway, I've seen this guy in the gym several times, and he'll work the body. There's some body bags, some punching bags. Everybody, their mama thinks there's some MMA, freaking mixed martial art, fucking Bruce Lee dude. Everybody's a fighter now. I've walked by people. I'm like, did you win? Did you get your money? You really got that dude like you owed your money. It's a punching bag. It was 8:47 on a Tuesday in Arcata. What are you doing? But anyway, it's cool. It's good exercise. But I don't know. It's something weird promoting the fighting. Too much fighting, promoting. That shit surged in the last 10, 20 years. Wow. Pick up on patterns. Anyway, yeah, but this guy, special needs. Oh, I love it. He puts a mouth guard in. He's got gloves and he works it. And he's kind of slow, but he's doing it. And then he'll come in the sauna and he won't come in the sauna, but he'll be in the sauna. Sorry. But speaking of which, his worker who's there on Saturdays, who apparently works a 24-hour shift. I used to work a 25-hour shift. It was independent living where these guys were gals, whoever, would get their own apartments, their own homes to get out of a group situation. It was a great idea, amazing things. Again, 24-hour care to a few hours, a few days a week. Guys in wheelchairs with cerebral palsy are doing a lot of bathroom stuff to guys that, just guys, people who could do most things, cook, almost everything. Is more companionship, taken to appointments, things like that. And yeah, so I knew he was on that level. I knew it was one of the local agencies. There's a few. I worked with one for, again, almost 9 years and or almost 10 years. But yeah, his worker's funny. He's this, I ain't gonna say it like it's anything of anything, but it's just this apparent flamboyant gay black dude with this nice perfect dreads and some tattoos. He's got the funniest tats ever. If you know who this is, you probably know who this is. I don't know. I didn't even catch his name, but he's got an X on one butt cheek and a O on the other, like you're playing tic-tac-toe. It's kind of funny. Kind of super gay, but kind of cool. I don't know. Never mind. Anyway, I knew he had his worker and he was cool enough. Like that's a cool gig. I used to take my dude to football games and, other guys to like events and movies and all sorts of things. So it's like pretty good gig. Like you literally get to go to the gym, take this client who's enjoying it. Anyway, that's a little background. So I'm in the sauna and there's a couple of us and this guy sits down, he starts talking and this is where it gets good. It was already good, but it gets better. Got a little outline here, talking in the sauna. So something came up about life and hurdles and jobs to do and things. And he said that, and I was just listening to some talk about some Seventh Bomar, some other, oh my God, amazing shit about just different levels and realms and what gods are on what and who's commanding who. which is weird because I was even listening to something tonight from this psychiatrist, Jerry Marzinski, on that level 2 on demons. And anyway, it's interesting. But this guy was saying there's a council that appoints him jobs to do. Now, to the untrained eye, ear, nose, everything, you probably think that person was crazy, or that he's clearly got some kind of, not like Down syndrome, but he's got something, some delay. You could see it in his face, his mannerisms, you know. And more than just a delay, but you know, we got to be PC. So when he said that, though, I'm like all ears. God, I just shook the table. I'm all ears, all everything. Here goes my dog. Some foxes in heat in springtime. They howl. You ever heard foxes? They sound like wailing witch wolf mutant beasts or something. But anyway, so I'm all ears. Watch this. Get him, girl. Get him. You better get them critters. You better protect this house, girl. Earn your keep. God damn it. No. She grew up on a mountain with no fences. She just ran game on everything. So now that we're in the burbs, which still has a redwood forest in the backyard, burbs for NorCal. Yeah, she's got to do her thing. But anyway, so I try to get her riled up so she can still have that country dog brain. She's off the leash every night running around when we go on walks and missions. But yeah, when he said this council appoints him, okay, girl, appoints him jobs to do. I was like, whoa, I need to tap this dude. We are going in. And there's a couple other dudes in the sauna. His worker wasn't. He came in at one point to say, hey, we've got 5 more minutes, but this was already after a few minutes. And he said that they appoint him jobs. And I was like, huh. So I'm just letting him roll. And he said, yeah, some of the most challenging jobs to do. I'm like, some of the most challenging. Interesting. And then we start talking about life, though. I'm like, yeah, some of the most challenging jobs they are hard to overcome. We've had to overcome a lot. But he said that there was this council that appointed him tasks, jobs. And then he's funny too, because he's like, the struggle is real. Like he's got some slang. He's like, the struggle is real. I was like, fucking love this guy. I want to work just for this dude and just talk to him all day about this cool paranormal stuff. It gets good. He says it causes him a lot of stress. And I thought, oh man, this poor guy's like under a lot of stress. And he kind of would look down. And I love this demographic. It's the way the brain works is so amazing. Within this populace, though, the level of variety is like infinite. And I know you can say that about people. And yes, oh God, as if they're not people. This is coming off wrong. The normal populace with an IQ of 70 or higher, standard deviation away of 2. One is 15, so that's 30. 100's average, normal. The curve, the bell curve. For whom the bell tolls, eh? Fuck your bell, dog. I got a pyramid. I got a trapezoid. I got rectangles. Give me a cube. Give me a cylinder. Yeah, me and my homie, we're chilling in a fucking cylinder, dude. Kick rocks with your bell curve. It's like they don't care about the outliers, but they're still outliers. Let's pay attention. The black swan. So anyway, I'm talking to this dude, and it's like, man, where's he going with this? This council appoints him. I was just, and I'm all ears. I'm all everything. I'm giving him, oh, really? Like, not just, oh, yeah, let me placate this fun little fantasy world from this mentally handicapped guy. Oh, yeah. No, I'm like, this is normal talk, dude. This is real. What you're talking about is real. And I believe you because I know you. I know this is real. And then we just start talking a little bit more. Then his worker was like, okay, comes in and like real quick, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. Hey. He said, 5 more minutes. No, I'm kidding. The dude's pretty cool. I remember months ago one time, the client was in the locker room and his worker, I don't know, he was just taking a little longer in the shower or something. He was all ready to go. He's like, okay, well, I got to get somebody to help. And he like leaves. And his worker dude comes back and he's like, kind of, I could tell. And I was like, your buddy left. He said he needed to get people, but it was maybe 20 seconds ago. He's probably halfway down the hallway at best, knowing his speed. He's like, okay, because I could gauge it right away what was going on. It was way before any other interaction at all. And then the guy gets ready, goes out, gets him. And they force the dude's just chilling in the hallway. Didn't get that far. Apparently didn't find people to help him. Who knows? Maybe he needed help with his jobs, these tasks. Now that I think back on it. But yeah, it was interesting because in his worker, you could tell this is a thing. And on his way out, he's like, oh, did you thank them for listening? He said, oh, thanks for listening. And I said, oh, of course. Thank you for sharing. No one else said anything, but the whole conversation was just he and I. It was maybe 5, 8, 10 minutes at most. And I thought, this is like the most fascinating thing. I just listened to this talk about these different gods, and I can't regurgitate the names, but there's some names that you've heard of if you know about the mystical and the ancient lore and whatnot, and how there's different realms or like different hierarchies and who controls what. And then I got out. I was in there for about 20 minutes. I do 20 in. They say about however long in you should be out, so about 20 out, but that's kind of a long time. So I do about maybe 10 or 15. I do a cold rinse. It's also winter. There's a nice outside area. I go outside, get cold air, cold rain. Oh, it's lovely. It's all part of the gym there. It's Arcata Health Sport. Yeah. If you know, you know. But then I saw a dude getting dressed at the locker room. His worker was still doing his whole shower thing, whatnot. I gotta go talk to this guy. So I go out there into the locker room because there's a glass window. It's like right there in the showers and the sauna. Okay. This is what he said. I'm looking at my screen. He said, he is powerful. That's why he's given these jobs. I'm like, yeah, you are. And I'm gonna get into why also. He's a conduit. He even said conduit. How many of y'all even say the word conduit? This guy's mentally handicapped. Okay. Do you say conduit? He does. A conduit for them. These entities. He's a conduit for them. And then he said something like, because he's him, because he's powerful. Okay, side note, I saw this documentary years ago before I even did in-home care, which was probably about 10 years ago at this point. And I did it for almost 10 years. It was this family. And not that this means anything, just go with what it is. They were both, I think, like medical doctors, psychiatrists, something just like high up, lots of education. Very normal though for very smart. And then they had, I think, 4 kids, 3 of which were like MDs, like, Harvard, MIT, this, that, and the other. Again, not that education is the top tier. However, to get through those schools, you have to have a certain intellect, IQ, whatever you want to measure it as, certain things. Okay, high up, sure. And then their last kid, if I'm not mistaken, was their last kid, was born with Down syndrome. Okay. So yeah, you have like counselors, MDs, you have this, that, and the other. And then maybe the real gem. But yeah, so they went into like, it's going to sound bad, but almost like, why? How did this happen? But not in a bad way. They love this kid. Oh man, it was so adorable. He only had like hot dogs with ketchup, and they had to be cut up. So the dad was so cute. He'd cut them up. I'm like, yeah, you're kind of feeding into that. Feeding into that. That's funny. I got this unconscious comedy writer back here. He's just feeding me lines, just ding up to the front, ding up to the front, ding up to the front. Shit's just firing. It's crazy. Motherfucker will say shit that comes around seconds, minutes later. Perfect. Ties it in. I can't come up with that. Your unconscious is like ahead time, 6 seconds ahead, they say, which is weird. They say your unconscious is living in the future, but this is the now. Well, it's even weirder to think that you even have an unconscious, like there's something else inside you that's operating without you knowing it, but it is you, but it's not you, but you don't know about it. But I'm talking about, so I do know about it. But it can be in the like ahead time and then like plan out what people are going to say or do or think, and then things happen. Wait, huh? Oh, 97% is unconscious controlled. Is it really? We just getting shit beamed in? I wasn't on this talk too. We're just a transmitter. Our brain doesn't create the thoughts come through it. Oh shit. Anyway, back to this dude, which ties in. Man, this guy was so sweet and nice too. I love these guys. He's like probably 30 something, maybe about 5'8" ish. Shaves his head, a little stubble. Trying to paint a picture. One eye, a little cockeyed. Oh, cockeyed. Kind of looking a little like this. Anyway, not that bad. I don't know how that even looked. Sorry, that was horrible. He'd probably laugh, whatever. Get over it. But I'm also listening to this talk just now, which is weird because I was going to do this even before I even listened to it. And it was this doctor, this PhD, this psychiatrist. We was talking to Owen Benjamin, Jerry Marzinski. Man, this shit is good. How there's a pattern to what's schizophrenics. I'll put that in quotes because that's what the Western psych world says. I'm going to take my little socks off. My feet are getting warm. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your socks so we can have some sex. Sorry. Remember that Chili Peppers poster when they had the socks on their ween weens? Anyway. But yeah, this doctor, so stupid, my tangents. But yeah, this doctor, he was talking about how he'd work in the psych wards, was it like prisons and medical, the biggest medical, uh, whatever, mental health ward in the country, somewhere in Georgia. And but anyway, there was a pattern to the psychoses, which is weird, and all the messages they get from demons, demons, whatever you want to call it, some entities that would tell them what to do, what to say, think, this, that, and the other. Man, it's good talk. Look it up. I'm not saying this dude's hearing demons. All I'm saying is it's interesting because I was just listening to this. But he said, I'm hyper. I get all over the place, but hey, deal with it. So when he said they have me do tasks, again, they is these other entities, this council on another realm, okay, that anoints him the most challenging, the hardest jobs to do. I'm gonna put a timeout to that because I was telling a previous story, back burner. I can pull it back. Yes, I remembered. So this family, though, right? This documentary, they looked into the why. Why did this happen? And it's not just food and the poisoning and maybe some jib mercury stuff. Who knows? Yeah, it's got to contribute to it. You're not a newborn in this realm and get all sorts of who knows what thrown up in you. That's a whole nother topic we'll get into, I guess, hopefully. And expect something not to happen, or everything's all good developmental wise, and then something gets put in you, then all of a sudden you basically become retarded overnight. Retarded overnight. That's the name of my new book, Retarded Overnight. Personal memoirs, chemical shores. Besides all that shit, here's the point, and this is the fucking point. So any of you parents out there that might have regrets over your kids having special needs, or when you look at the numbers though, autism, everything's like spiking like a mofo. Oh, because they're getting better at detecting it. That's right. Kind of like ADHD. You mean, let me block that creativity. It's fun, you see. It's like some 80s after cartoon. Fucking little rainbow comes up. Knowing is, whatever, half the battle, and knowledge is key. And some book opens up and rays of sunshine come out with their knowledge. I'm gonna make some mouth noises. Anyway, sorry. So when they looked, no, this is serious though. When they looked into it, I think they talked to, was it some psychic, or I hate to say it just like that too. Let's just say a smart ass motherfucker. Yeah, it's better. It was a doctor. Oh, a doctor said it. A doctor of witchcraft, a witch doctor. Oh no! Don't shrink my head. Rosinski got into that. How psych meds shrink your brain. Oh my god. Here it is. Here's the heavy hitter stuff, and I mean this. Well, it was from the movie or documentaries. Of course, I mean it. I'm just reiterating what they said. They said that special needs kids, get this. Whoo, this is deep. For all of you that have worked with them or have them, or your neighbor, or you don't even know any, it doesn't matter. This is like bodhisattva shit. They came down into this realm as powerful beings. This guy told me he was powerful. They come into this realm because they are and will be great teachers. Boom, motherfucker. Where's mine? Bang that shit. I got more banging shit here too. Look at this. Look at this. Set that shit on fire. I got my drum. We'll drum on that later. Great teachers, and they are. Not too long later, probably just a year or so, I started working with them. They are great teachers. They teach patience. You ever helped a dude just even in a wheelchair get into bed? You learn so much about yourself helping a grown man brush their teeth, wipe their cheeks. Well, not the cheek part, but the in between. Anyway, just the conversations, there's a certain, and I say this with all due respect, and anyone that knows them or has them or works with them will know that I am saying the truth. It's like an adult kid. It's like the best of both worlds. They're in this adult body and still have some adult mindset mannerisms, but then they have this kid-like innocence that hasn't been corrupted, tainted, withdrawn, and taken away. Ooh. Yeah, it's a good one. If you need a job in home care with these folks, it's like everywhere, always high turnover rate. Anyway, paranormal tasks is what this kid said that they asked him to do. When I asked him, I said, "Kid, he's in his 30s. I'm sorry, that was derogatory." I said, "What kind of tasks?" And he said, "Paranormal." I said, "Oh, I didn't get into it. I should have." But we kept going. All of a sudden, I was thinking, it sounds like the Flyers, maybe some Watiko. Huh. Who knows? Maybe it really is this other council. What is this council? There's a good one and a bad one, a white and a black, or a light and a dark, I should say. I got too many bullet points. This is going to exceed my 30 minutes. Again, my video thing is only at that. I'm using Clipchamp. I like it. It's good for editing, but for what it is recording right now, I don't have another system. So this is going to be a little two-part, but I'll make it into one. He has an affinity to cats. This was interesting. All of a sudden, we started talking about cats. And I thought, man, cats are psychic as a mofo. Man, of course he is. And he was talking about Callie the calico. Callie. He had a Callie the calico. And then he said, and I think I got this right. He said when Callie, something about the cat just appeared to him or like came to his doorstep or he found it. I'll have to ask him next time I see him, or he got this cat. But as soon as he did, and he said this so quick, he said, the goddess Set, I think he said Set, the goddess Set appeared and then disappeared right away when the cat showed up. What? Of course I believed him because I know that shit happened. My mama saw Pele. She did. She was on, I think the big island in Hawaii. And there was a lava bed, a dried up lava bed. And there was a woman out there. What the hell is that woman doing out there? She homeless? But she said she had hair like fire. Fire hair, and not just some redhead, not some lost Irish woman out there just wandering around. Hi, where's me ma and me pa? I don't know where I am. It's too warm here. It's too sunny. My fair skin. No. Fire, like fire, fire. And my mom was like, who's that woman out? Like, do you see that woman? And the person she was with said, oh, yeah, that's Pele. Oh, yeah, she comes around we all see her at some point in time in our lives. No, I don't know if she sounded like that, but whatever. Shakas, brah. But yeah, she said, that's Pele. And my mom was like, oh, okay. Because my mom's cool like that. And she was down with spirits and whatnot. So is, yeah, fucking Pele. But he said, this goddess appeared and then disappeared. I said, what? And that he's also chosen, or the cats too, because they really like him. And I thought, yeah, animals really like me. Man, I'm like resonating with this dude. There's so many things that are similar. I'm like, I was feeding stray cats when I was a little kid, raccoons. My mom let me feed raccoons by hand and shit. I was an OG like that. Animals come up to me all the time. Not come up to me, but like go near me, aren't scared. They turn to look back, all sorts of shit. Fox, deer, you name it. I got videos. You might have seen them. Oh yeah, this was weird. I had some weird dream the night before where like I choked this little puppy and then I threw this one puppy up and then down on the ground because they owed me money. Anyway, I was referring to someone else that actually does owe me money, which is really weird. I'm like, how these dogs, and I felt really bad and I was holding them. I don't think they died, but they're like unconscious. I don't know. It was really a weird, fucking weird dream snippet. Well, it's even more weird now that I think about it because in that talk with Jerry tonight, he was talking about when these flyers get into your head. Or not flyers, he didn't say like that, but these demons. He said one time when he was doing some with his dog just outside, you're doing yard work with his husky in Arizona. He said, oh, I feel sorry. The dog shouldn't have been there. But all of a sudden he got a thought to chop his dog's head off. We've all had weird, random thoughts like that. But he was saying that's not his thought. He loved his dog. Where'd that come from? Man, that was weird because he was talking about that tonight. But anyway, I had that dream the night before. I was talking to this guy in the sauna the next day, which was a couple days ago. He mentions his brother at one point holding the cat up by the scruff and like choking him by the bookshelf. In my dream where that happened was right next to this bookshelf. Not this one, but this other one in my front room. It was so weird. The similarities. I'm like, you're telling me about this memory that your brother like choked this dog or your cat by this bookshelf. It was really scary. The cat was fine. And the night before I had this dream about choking this dog and then throwing this other dog down. It was right by this bookshelf. I'm like, this is so weird. And I'm listening to this talk tonight, which is even weirder. And he was talking about hurting his dog. I'm gonna creep away. Never mind, I'm back. he was saying that also that they would come into his dreams, like dead cats. They would come visit him, his older cats and other ones. And I thought, oh my God, mine do too. And I was just about to say if any of them called Fuzzy or Miles, two of my old cats that I had up here. Fuzzy was also named Sunny. I was like, if Fuzzy or Sunny come into your dreams, they're mine. Let me know. I say hi. Before I could say that, you know what he said? This is so crazy, the synchronicities. He says, oh yeah, Milo comes to me all the time. Milo? I keep looking over here at me. I gotta get used to this camera up here. Right before I was about to say if Fuzzies are Miles, like Miles Davis, because he's one cool cat, one hip cat. That's why I named him that. He said, no, but I was just about to ask him. He said, my old cat Milo comes to me. Milo. So I told him, well, if Miles comes to you, that's mine. And I mentioned to him, you could tell he was smiling. He's like, he was kind of geeking out, right? Man, this shit was crazy. I got 4 more minutes on this, but I'll do a second one. I know I'm going fast. I'm crazy. I'm hyper on this shit. So in between talking, he puts on a necklace and it was this stone. I think it was kind of green. I couldn't really tell what it was. And then I had mine on that I normally have on, my necklace, my Chinese double happiness, and my boomerang that I got in China and Australia. Then I had this one that I got recently, a Chapman's Gem and Mineral, my fluoride. Look at that, dude, right down the middle. How fucking dope is that? But I had it on the Sauna. And then he put on his, and he had this cool kind of little wire wrap, and he was putting it on his protection. But I could tell this dude was down. He probably read up on it. Who says conduit? Who says the goddess Set, or whichever goddess he referred to? This dude's smart. A council? Come on now. And I was like, oh, I've got mine. He's like, I know, I saw that. So we had this little bonding moment, and I was like, yeah, it's fluoride. I just got this. He's like, yeah, I really like it. I was like, how the colors split in the middle. He's like, yeah, that's what I like about it. He's like, it's so cute. Oh my God. Fucking love this guy. Totally want to work for him. And but yeah, it was cool because he put on his, and I thought, oh yeah, he does need a little protection or something. And yeah, it was really weird. And then he mentioned how his like eyesight was bad and how like his lungs, because his mom smoked like all the time inside. And then he said, yeah. So I was like, oh, I might have added to what happened. Who knows how he was born? And then he said, this was really sad too, especially because I am an alcoholic. I'll have 3 years sober in a month. But he said, yeah, and his stepdad would become, and he said diabolical when he would drink. This poor guy, man. That dude probably fucking, here I am wanting to smack the dad, but the dad probably smacked him. Oh, that was horrible. His stepdad. But for him just to say that, and I would say thank you and appreciate him for saying stuff and sharing and letting things out. And I would talk about, I would sneak in little things here and there, and I'd say, oh, and I've had to, and I didn't mention my drinking or my past, but I was just sympathetic to him. And yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up on that, but to be continued because his worker then came out and was talking about what's an appropriate conversation. We're going to get into that. That's a good one with people who aren't fully clothed. Ooh, I bet you like that, big boy. The worker, remember, he had the X and O on the cheeks. Yeah. And then we're going to talk about cherishing the moment, like holding a cup of tea, whatever that's supposed to mean. Anyway, no, I was watching this really cool video. This British guy who was whittling wood made a cup. Fascinating. It was called Calm Carving, I think. Yeah, it was cool. Super unique. You just hear the wood sounds. Anyway, I got just like a little bit under a minute on this video, so I'm going to wrap it up. And here's the deal. This guy was amazing. I had synchronicities after that too. On my way out, I started talking to Chad at the water store. We're going to get into that. Man, if someone says something to you, there's a chance that they might not be lying. They might not be making it up. We're going to take that away from now. We're going to take that away from now? What? That didn't make any sense. Let me put on my shades so I can see what's out there. Oh, God. It's like, what's that? They live. Oh, God. Let me bang my drum. Got 10 seconds left. Oh, yeah. That's for our homie. Peace, y'all. Squadoons, I'll be back. Evening, folks. We're going to finish up our little talk here. It'll be stitched together or whatever they call it, so it'll seem seamless. But yeah, it's going to wrap up our conversation on our good old special needs friends with special powers. Those that have a council that appoints them jobs and tasks to do. All right. Anyway, this is good stuff. So where we left off was, man, I swear this screen is blinking. It was just not doing it. I don't know what's going on. The cord is something rather. Anyway, that's why my face flutters with the light. But yeah, his worker, I remember he comes in and we were talking and you can tell he's like, yeah, this isn't an appropriate conversation. I was like, man, we're just talking cats. But I think what they were doing is, I guess, as staff, they were trying to have the client not talk to people when they're getting dressed or just in their, swim trunks or underwear or naked, or whatever. I had my little shorts on because we're doing a sauna. He was already dressed, whatever. But then the staff was there and I was like, oh, and I realized that right away. So I was like, oh, I see that you're trying to work with him on that. This, was pretty juvenile. I didn't say juvenile, but I was like, oh, it's just pretty basic. We're just talking about his cats and my cats. And he's like, oh, I know. We talk about that a lot. And, but it was interesting because I was thinking, like, what makes an appropriate conversation? Not to talk to anyone at all in the locker room. You're half naked, fully naked, 3/4 naked. I mean, we're just talking about cats. I can see the paranormal stuff with most people getting out there, but not with me. I loved it. I mean, my God, it was so amazing. And so, I don't know, just got me to think, like, what the hell is an appropriate conversation? There's nothing sexual, nothing weird, nothing, no one swearing. It was, I don't know. But I could see as staff maybe the boundaries that they were trying to establish, but I don't know. This guy barely probably gets anyone to talk to him outside of his staff, and they probably, who knows how much they're talking to him, but I'm sure they are for sure. Some do. But anyway, what's an appropriate conversation when you're half naked in a sauna? I don't know. Or in the locker room. I guess it was, yeah. Which is kind of funny because that staff clearly probably really enjoys talking to half naked or naked men, given his demeanor and having an X and an O on his butt cheeks. Yeah, so that's a nice tattoo. Big too. They weren't small. They took up a good portion of the cheek, Anyway. But anyway, what's an appropriate conversation half naked in the locker room? Talking about cats apparently ain't. So here's the shitty thing. Here's the funny thing. So they leave and I'm like gonna go do another round in the sauna, and I get in there and then a couple guys who are there, and the next conversation turned into the most stereotypical one ever about just getting girls at the bar and just like their dating life, but like hookup kind of life, but not just talking about this, that, and the other, and going to the bar and down at Everett's on the plaza, country girl. And it was just funny though, because it was like, here I am talking to this special needs guy who's anointed by a council because he has powers and he's strong and he's powerful, and then he's a conduit, this like etheric once in a lifetime type conversation, to just the homies talking about throwing their weenie between the lips of, oh man, so funny, talking about throwing the weenie between the lips, between the hips. Yeah, anyway, they weren't that graphic, but it was just kind of funny, the tone, the conversation changed that dramatically, which is just, it's just interesting. It's like, if people spend half the time talking about spirituality and what is and could be and what this realm is and who we are and everything, this world would, I hate to say it, be a better place. The little kumbaya circles and whatnot can come to fruition. We need some fruition. Ain't that right, lady? My dog's over there chilling. You need some fruition? Yeah. Fruition. It's like fruit and tuition. Fruition. Anyway. Yeah, it's just total polarities. It's just, I love that shit. The world is so amazing and so intriguing to me. And so it's just funny. And it was cool because I was telling this guy right on the way out, they were talking to these girls or this and that and not getting the right name down or put it in their phone, seeing them again, this, that, and the other. And I was like, the best thing is just call them during the day, go get some coffee or something, just walk around and talk, but make sure to ask about their childhood to figure out how they really are. Yeah, that's my best advice. And then we'll go from there. Or we can talk to the council, the great council of beings that anoint you tasks to do the hardest ones. We can ask them for advice on getting the poon. Yeah, they might know a thing or two. All right, here we go. Sorry to say it like that, but it's funny. Anyway, that was that for that. That was gym days. But then I go get my water, Miss Aya's New World Water. Talk to my homie Chad, who works there, and we always get to talking. And I'm all hyped up because I love this demographic. I just got through this amazing conversation about just how this kid, and it's like, take it for what it is. Maybe he is or isn't actually anointed or, set forth to do these tasks. And what does that even mean? He's not going on some quest in the woods. Maybe he does like some energy work or maybe deep thought or meditation. I'm like, what is he talking about? And then I'm listening to this talk with like Jerry Marzinski with these demons who get into your head. And I'm not thinking that's the case. I think they actually are benevolent. I don't think they're malevolent in the sense that's good and bad, if you didn't know. Yeah, he's definitely not doing mean stuff, I don't think at all. So I feel like he might be really doing some work on some deep spiritual, energetic level. Like, I wonder what he's doing. Maybe he's helping souls cross over. I don't know. I got to talk to him again. Now that I'm in, I just won't be half naked. I'll make sure to be dressed, or maybe not in the locker room. Maybe we need to be in the hallway, or maybe half naked with the worker in the shower playing tic-tac-toe. Oh no. Gotta go. Oh shit. But yeah, I'm at the water store and we're chit-chatting and anyway, it was interesting because these guys, they were then talking about where they're from and whatnot. And one guy was saying Southern California, and he said near Coachella. And I probably know that from the music festival. And he's like, yeah, but down there. And the other guy kind of knew the area, like was it Riverside County, I think he was saying, and near Palm Desert and all that. And I only mention that because when I pull up to the water store right after the first car I see, there's a sticker on the back of the car that says Coachella. And there was just all these little synchronicities. That's one that stood out. And there was a lot leading up to this whole weekend. How was that? Like March 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. Yeah, a lot of synchronicities. So I was thinking, what time of year is that? St. Patty's Day was yesterday. That's the 17th. That's a big day for them. Their four-leaf clover. That's their four directions. It's like their little Knights Templar sign. They kind of hide that. Phony Bobbins is a little motivational guy. He wears that hat. It's got a four-leaf clover. I'm always suspect of that now. It's like Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish. They're big on this. A lot of it goes back to Ireland. So anyway, I was thinking though, because March is the new year, they tricked us on that one. I guess if it's March 1st, maybe the equinox for spring, who knows? But yeah, it's the new year, new month. So I'm like, there's power because there was a lot of synchronicities going on. To have this conversation too, just really got me to thinking. Then I looked up Coachella because I was like, where is that exactly? Here's what's interesting. And I love these names. There's the Salton Sea, like the Sultan. Ooh, the Sultan, some Arabian dude. And then we've got Mecca. Okay, cool. And then India, which is like India. Okay. Indian Hills, right? Palm Desert, and then Thousand Palms. And I looked that up, and there's some like Hindu goddess, one of their like 8 million, that has 1,000 arms. I'm like, Thousand Palms, India. I don't know. These names are just interesting. There's a garnet, and it's outside a Joshua tree. And I'm like, Joshua, he's a big player. Anyway, I guess we can go to Mecca or India, the Salton Sea, party at Coachella. I don't know. I just got to thinking, it's kind of a random area. There's got to be something to it. There's a lot of energy in that area. That's why it's the city of angels down there. All right. I mean, that's inland more, but anyway. Okay, let's see here. Let's keep this going so we don't lose folks. Oh yeah, so I'm telling them this whole story, and I'm telling them about how I saw that documentary and how there's special beings here down to, they've come down here to teach us, and uh, yeah, just how they're these, that story about the family with their kid with Down syndrome, and I'm telling him that, and I'm telling him all about this other guy in the sauna, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you believed him, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, like it was amazing." He's like, "Oh yeah, like you're into that," and I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah," and I was like, so we're kind of riffing on that, like the normal groups versus or the normies. I always hate that term, but compared to myself and. Which was cool. The kid lucked out. The kid, he's like probably in his 30s, but our special needs guy, he's yeah, just for the short time he was in the sauna, like, I just happened to be in there, and it's random when I go too, usually on the weekend, but, um, anyway, yeah, so what I like though was sharing that story with Chad, and that's why I felt compelled to make this because he got so excited and he loved that story. He's like, "Man, thank you for sharing that." And that's what's cool is there's this like actual real experience. Did I read a million books and write a million books for this one? No. Did I uncover some amazing research with some of the elements? No. Did I come up with some way to make a lot of money with some crypto or something? No. Did I teach you how to grow food or raise some chickens? No. Did I teach you how to shake your butt cheeks? No. Did I teach you how to do a backflip or do some weird basketball shot off 19 stories up off a moving train that hit a pigeon on the way down and then flicked off a booger and then somehow miraculously went into the net? But before it did some super 360 spiral, even though you probably did like 98 million takes to get that. No, I didn't do any of that. That sounds ridiculous. I went to the sauna one day and had a fucking my favorite thing about life is life and people in it. I am enamored with people. That is my being down here. I always have been. So this is what I offer is an experience that happened to me where I just went to the sauna one day, had a talk with a random dude who was born with something that made him a little off, a little different. And he was saying how a realm of that, oh man, so deep. The council in this realm has him do different tasks. And the hardest one is because he's really powerful and a conduit. And then I told someone, the very next person, and he was all jazzed up about it. And just the synchronicities with like Milo and Miles and the Coachella and this and that. And I don't know. This ain't going to change your life, but maybe you'll appreciate it a little more. Maybe you'll talk to that person that looks a little different, a little more, pause a little more, smell the flowers, not just the roses a little more. Yeah. Anyway, people are dope as fuck. That's all I got to say. We got one last bullet point. Sounds silly, but cherish the moment like holding a cup of tea. Fall in love with that feeling, like holding a cup of tea. I only say that, not that I ever really do that, but um, do what I say, not what is it? Do what I say, not what I do. I don't know, some shit. I was watching this wood carving thing and it was called like Calm. Did I mention this in the first part? Calm Carving. And it was this British guy and he was carving this wood cup. It was so amazing. You just heard the wood with these different knives and he would show you what kind of knife it was. And I just love this old timey shit. The way to progress is actually to go like backwards, but with technology. So we got to learn these old trades. And it was just so neat to see. He just made it out of this stump and he just had this log and he just whittled it down and then he was carving it all. And oh my God, it was so cool. And so that's where I got that because at one point he was holding his tea in this cup, this little wood cup that he made. And it was an arduous task, but it was gorgeous. But I was just thinking, like, I don't know what this means, but what I put right after that, what if this is a microcosm to the world? Believe what we have been taught and led to. Yeah, see, we've been taught, like, it's tight. You'll hear me say this a lot. Arr, they wrapped it around your head and led like a leash. Come here, boy. Come here. Yeah, come here. Now get back to work, fool. So what's the microcosm in that? I don't know. Just cherish the moments. Like, who really does that anymore? To slow down enough to sip tea, but like the feeling, because he was talking about holding the cup in his hand and the feeling of that. And I just love that. And I don't know. It just made me think. Here I'm sitting on this wood in a sauna. A couple other people. There was like 3 or 4 other people in there in the sauna when we were talking too. So I'm sure it was tripping them out. They were like, "Fuck, they talking about council on other realms?" And this other dude's agreeing with it and says that he knows and believes that too. And how he's also had to. Oh, and I said that too. And I was like talking about life's problems and how we got to get better at. They throw these hard tasks our way, and it was frustrating him. And I was saying, I've been through a lot in my life, and I think that that's me, my oversoul. sending me tasks and jobs, and all these different things to overcome and to grow from. And the guy, he was agreeing and smiling, and it was affirming what he knew and what he thought and what he believed and what this stuff was. These messages were coming down to him, and his conduit, because he's powerful. Man, that dude, I love that shit. And I was saying it, and it was invigorating him. And I was like, yeah, I've been through a lot too, and I haven't so much had jobs appointed to me from this council, but I feel like I have. It's possibly, however you want to look at it, myself on another level, and or it is these other beings, or oh God, I just smashed my knee. I was trying to change. Sorry, girl. I'll shake you up over there. And I was saying that about myself too, and I could see him kind of nodding and smiling, and then, and just by me agreeing with what he was saying, in a sense that not only was I not just going along with it, but I was in agreement, and put on my shades. I was in agreement and totally in accordance with it, and believed it and lived that level of knowing there's a spirit realm, knowing there's other realms, knowing there's all this that you can and can't see, the before, the present, the future, all wrapped up. And we didn't get into all that. I'm just kind of rambling right now. But what I liked was when I was saying certain things back to him about, then these jobs, these tasks are really hard, but they manifest in our right here, right now. And what we can do then is, and I used a baseball analogy. I was like, I hope he gets this. And I was like, at first we're swinging and missing, the curveballs are coming in, and he kind of nodded. So I was like, okay, he knows baseball. And I was like, eventually we're going to hit a foul ball. Then we're going to get a single, then a double. And as I was doing that, you could see his brain was like, and I was like, and then a triple, and then finally we're hitting homers, And then he was like, yeah, and he was totally into it, man. And it's funny because it's like spring training right now, and you could tell he was like going along with it, because I'm like, yeah, then a base hit, then a double, then a triple. We just keep getting better, and then once we finalize and complete that learning experience from that, whatever it was from, the council saying to help out with this, or something else that's happening right now in life, or if that's the same thing. And I could just tell he was just so into just hearing that, because it was not just validating him as a person and his experience, but it was then helping to teach him in a sense too of, okay, here's this other guy seeing it from this level. He's saying it, maybe not how I say it to myself, but he gets it. And man, it was a beautiful thing to say. That didn't make sense. It was a beautiful thing to see. Let me take these off so I can see. I'm starting to get cotton mouth. It's 12:17 here on the Pacific Standard Time. But yeah, I appreciate that. That last part I actually almost forgot. Yeah, that was a beautiful thing. Yeah, that was nice. Anyway, my name's Keel McCall Shores. This is the Variety Hour. Ain't that right, girl? She's looking at me like, boy, I know, I'm going to take you out soon. This is the Variety Hour, Truth and Laughter, where we get down, we tug on those heartstrings, and we hit them where it counts. We're going to make you cry, make you laugh, possibly at the same time. You're going to love life, because that's the point of life. It's very hard to do. Trust and believe. I hid for years, decades. But we have a program. If you want to get down, do one-on-one group. We complete our traumas. We find our life purpose. So I hope this story about my homie, my new friend, I'm going to, hopefully see again. When was that? Saturday. That's when I see him there, Saturday afternoon. Yeah. It's a date. I'm like stalking him. This is so weird. I want to find out about this council some more. About to get in, be like, yo, my homie Mike? You give him the hard jobs, can I get up in this? Let me get up in this. Let me get some of these, Oh, I better be quiet. The motherfucker's coming for me too soon. Anyway. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. No, I'm just getting silly, but that's what we do best, right? Kisses, licks, and barks, because we're loving, goofy, and let me rewind that. Kisses, because we're loving. Licks, because we're silly and goofy like that. And barks, because we still come with a fierce, relentless pursuit and determination. Lady, you're so funny. I wish we could see you right now on the camera. Anyway, thanks, folks. More to come. Love yourself, love others, something like that. My advice: get out of here. Go do something awesome. Don't just watch more videos, except if they're mine. Bye bye. Whoa. Hit pause on those credits. I ain't done yet. Not just a couple things. I was adding my little cartoony things, editing, not editing, but adding my little things. And I just wanted to recap on a couple things because I noticed a somewhat tone. Anyway, you you might remember me from such films as part 1 of this, part 2 of that. Special needs folks with special powers, chosen to do amazing things. Anyway, it's all part of the same things. But yeah, here's a fun one for IQ. That one point we were talking about IQ. I remember I had a professor who she broke it down the best. She said intelligence is the ability to adapt and survive in an ever-changing environment. Huh. One more time for those not listening, or just to say it again because you need it. I do. Intelligence, IQ, intelligence quotient. Quotient. What are you quoting? The ability to adapt and survive in an ever-changing environment. And then her example was even joining a gang. Might not seem like the smartest thing to do, but maybe in an environment that you actually need that protection could be seen as a sign of intelligence. Anyway, just wanted to add that. Another thing is the story of the kids, the family that I said they all were like doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs. Old saying, if you don't know it, whatever. High-end schooling, education, and then their last kid with Down syndrome. I had hella tangents there. I was like, what is he even saying? But yeah, they basically, the bottom line is they talked to I'll just say some mystic, a really smart person that said that no, folks with special needs are, and I get it, with the argument, could be rightly so, on certain interventions that could lead to it. However, this person, regardless of any of that, because this can be seen throughout ever, is they've chosen this life to come down as special beings to be great teachers, so profound. Yeah, the Bodhisattva style. It's like you've enriched enlightenment, but you've chosen to come down. Greatest sacrifice ever to help others to obtain enlightenment. Yeah, we get it. Now I'm just coming back because that homie Dre, he owe me money. Gotta get my $20. Yeah, right. He's stewing over that in heaven. No, just kidding. The council versus demons. I mentioned Marzinski and some of his great work, which is amazing. Look him up. But I was thinking because it's not like they're leading him to do bad things. Maybe, but I don't think so. If it's like, so who's talking through? It's some conduit, like he was saying. That's funny I use that word. Basically, that schizophrenics and quote are hearing voices that are random and just them, but they're actually outside forces that are together and in conjunction and unison with each other, in that there's a pattern. There's repeating patterns and how they come through people. So who they choose, how it can happen is one thing. So if you're not looking at it from that standpoint of the negative, but what if it's good? We hear of inventors and all these other people, Tesla and folks that got messages in their head, whether it was in the dream state or waking state or meditative state or inventing state, same thing pretty much, I guess. Yeah, we don't make up thoughts. They come to us. That's a trip. So I'm thinking, no, he's got to be hearing good because this guy was really sweet. If he was tormented by it, I think it would be different. I know it would be. So yeah, I just want to touch on that briefly. I dragged on stories a lot. So watch it again. Yeah. Or rewind. Rewind often, take copious notes, stuff like that. No, but anyway, yeah. So those stories, it was funny because here I'm talking to him about his amazing, these tasks that he's has to do, and they're paranormal. They're the hardest ones, and they really stress him out. Then I was telling him how I get, certain things, stress me out, or I didn't say stressed out, but are hurdles that we have to get over and hit the ball of the park. And I've had some big life stuff, and how he felt now, that universality, the group therapy, if you will, not that this was therapy, but the commonality that someone else can do it, and you could tell he was doing things. And but anyway, I want to talk to him more about that, and so I really like that. Yeah, and then the bottom line is, and then also he was really close with animals, and how they said he always had cats. I kind of stole that thunder and talked about myself, but yeah, he had all these cats that came up to him, and how this goddess appeared, then disappeared right when his cat Callie came and into his life, and that he's always had all these cats, and just really in tune, and connected to them, and you could tell he had that. And I'm guessing that he's always had that with animals, which if you have that, you have that, and if you don't, it's okay. But yeah, I related. So I really like that. And it's interesting how animals do choose folks that are special in regard to anything. Well, I guess they choose anyone, but certain folks, it's like how they're empathic, the animals. And I'll even think random stuff, rehearsing things in my head, and my dog will turn as if she knows I'm thinking something more dynamic or powerful. It's a trip. Anyway, so I like that about him. He's got that secret cat language. He speaks Cantonese. Meow, meow. My dog's like, them Chinese cats up in here. No, there's no Siamese cats. Don't worry, girl. I gotta feed her soon. She's getting hungry. And the last thing is, what the hell was the point of all this? Why are we watching this now for about an hour? I thought this was going to be another minute. We're 6 minutes in. Folks, you don't always need to have to read all these books or write all these books or do all these things and, have all these accomplishments and all this schooling and 30 years of that and 50 years of this and 90 years of that. And don't measure yourself by that. Use that as inspiration, because we aspire to inspire before we expire. Again, we aspire to inspire before we expire. But my simple experience just hanging out with a dude that's on the spectrum in the sauna. That's a cool title, On the Spectrum in the Sauna. I like that. I then shared that with Chad, and Chad got all super excited and thanked me, and it like lifted him up. So go out in the world and explore, experience, bring that back to us, to your homies, to your fellow storytellers, and let's sit around the campfire and tell each other stories, what we experienced, because it can help also with the experience, the strength, and hope to really do just dope ass shit to own your life. Now get after it. Love you. Hurroof.